All right. Well, yeah, thanks for coming. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience? And obviously, I know who you are, but I'd like them to hear a little bit about you, your name, how long you've been part of Legends, a little bit about your story.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, thanks for having me out here, Rob. I really appreciate it. And my name is Aaron Radel. A lot of people call me Rad for short, so that's what I kind of go by as Rad as my nickname. How long have I been at Legends? Well, honestly, I started June 13th, 2023.
Okay.
And so I'm going on 2 years this June because we're about 2025 right now. And I've got about 340 attendances under my belt, and I was going for 400. That's my goal. My first year, I wanted a light switch just had to flip on to even want to go to the gym, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just all of a sudden said, why have I been driving by this logo by my house in Sandy? I see this Legend sign. I'm like, hey, babe, I should always go into the gym. I should just go hit this place up. I travel around with these guys that do boxing already, and why am I not?
Nice.
And so that's kind of how I took my foot and put it right into I want to say the deep end of the pool, because I really want to immerse myself into boxing and understand my health, and I don't want to take any pills or any more pills, or be told, hey, you need to you need to work out so you can lose your Relicore around your waist to stop diabetes and all these types of things.
Yeah.
I'm 47 years old, and this was I should have been doing it when I was 15, bro. To be honest, I should have been boxing so much long ago, but I always tell myself I started when I did.
Yeah.
And I'm totally stoked to be, sitting here with you talking about boxing and how it's impacted my life, and others that I know around me who say, hey, Rad, my friend went and got a CT scan on himself because you went and got one.
Yeah.
And he came back with really bad. And now he's going to have more doctors talk to him.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, bro, I'm so sorry that's the case. He's like, no, it's because of you, though, trying to do this health journey, trying to better yourself and, not deal with the complications that my own father dealt with heart issues, and my grandfather on my mom's side had heart issues. So I'm like, bro.
Isn't it interesting what motivates us? I find that boxing has this unique way of engaging people differently, right? So our first marketing campaign when I first started Legends was centered around trying to attract people that didn't naturally like working out. I personally hate working out.
Yeah.
I don't find any joy from moving weights around. I don't like, and I've never liked it. It just feels like I'm helping somebody move. And when I got into boxing, it was always related to playing sports of some sort. And so doing the boxing classes feel like I'm engaging in a sport, or I'm getting better at something, or I'm learning something. After this many years of doing it, I'm still learning something every single time, or working on a weakness. So I never feel like I'm working out. I always feel like I'm doing that. And I think that's what helps keep people consistent or try to strive for big goals like what you're doing.
Oh, bro, I couldn't agree with you more. It's just something, it's different each time, right? And I like having coaches coach me. I feel like I played good baseball when I was younger, and I was always on a team, and I always liked that mentality of first base, things like that. Just stop the ball at all costs. And so when I put myself into something, I bring I feel sportsmanship type mentality to the situation, where it's like, what's the most I can learn? Am I going to go pro? I don't know, but that's my mind. What does it take even at 47? If George Foreman can win the world championship at 45.
Yeah, his story's amazing.
If we want to bring it full circle to George Foreman, the great, I started at 45. So there's some inspiration for me as well. It was like, bro, I should just be.
Well, Bernard Hopkins started in prison at 36, so he wasn't a fighter and ended up becoming a world champ. So the limitations are the limitations you place on yourself. But what's nice is that it doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, if you're pro, if you're there to work out, if you're there because you want a tribe of people to be around that relate to you, that understand you. The reason I did all this was I wanted to be able to give the gift of boxing to anybody that wants to learn it. There's some valuable things that have helped me throughout my life that I can relate directly to boxing and the challenges that you deal with to become a boxer. And I think it gets misunderstood as to what it means to be a boxer, right? There's an ego around it. sometimes misused.
Sure.
And I do think that there's a level of respect for those that go to different levels of boxing. But it doesn't, like, whatever level you're at, like, that's your journey, that's your life, that's your decision, and what you get out of it
Right.
is important to you. And we don't need the validation from other people to decide if whatever level of boxing doesn't make you less of a boxer. You may be, doing boxing for fitness may be where that ends for anybody, and that's okay. That's wonderful, right? Like, if consistency, just like you mentioned, prescriptions and heart medicine and all that versus going to the gym and working out and working those things. If
Which
that's what
helps you.
boxing does, yeah.
Right. I mean,
Then
the
great.
doctor literally says, "Hey, Rad," I'm like, "What? We're going to put you on this statin."
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh, because I got calcium in my Widowmaker at 47." I'm like, "Well, if I didn't go get pre-checked, it would never have lit off like a car light on my
Right.
car engine, So I went and got looked at because I was like, what if I wanted to spar, get a little serious, get a health checkup, et cetera. So I had my doctor run all these preliminary tests on me, came back with the heart issue, and he was like, "So are you working out?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "How much?" I was like, "About every day." He looked at me like, "Every day?" I was like, 5 days a week? Does that sound better for you? Because really, 6 days a week I was rolling with Demetrius up at Sandy.
Yeah.
5 days a week I was always in there, Coach Juan in there, just pushing us and showing up. You got to show up.
Yeah.
Right, you got that. There's a switch that you'll hit when you have to start working out, or you find it, right? And I wish I found it a little sooner, but I'm glad I did find it. And Legends has brought me there.
Good.
Honestly, I've lost about 32 pounds. I started at like 298 pounds, and now I'm at about 265 to 272 is what I fluctuate.
It's awesome.
If you're watching the scale.
Mental health too, right? Like
Oh.
I trick myself because I don't find joy in working out. I wish I did. I wish I was a naturally wanted to wake up at 5 a.m, go hit the gym and do. I wish I had that. I don't. I'm sure it would be better for my health and for my mental health, but what I do is one of my tricks, and you guys can try this, and it's so silly when I say it out loud, but I talk myself into, I'm going to show up for 15 minutes. I know the class. What's nice is you don't have to think about anything. You just have to show up, and the coach is there to tell you what to do. And so I'll trick myself into 15 minutes, and then I end up almost all the time staying for the full hour, and then sometimes even longer because I'm just feeling it that day. And I think it comes from being a competitive boxer and loving that side of it, that when I was working out for the intention to compete. And so now that I'm older and that I'm not competing, and it's been 4 years since I've competed, and I go, okay, well, like, why am I working out, right? It's for my health. And just like you said, there isn't a light that blinks on, that says, oh, your heart's bad or this, but I do know that, if I'm trying to beat the effects of aging, working out is one of them.
Right, it is. And you're surrounding yourself, specifically at the gym, like at Legends, with like-minded individuals who are also there to fail in order to succeed. I mean, we're all being vulnerable. We're all bear crawling together on the floor with our butts up in the air. It's like everybody's in there doing the same motions or trying to get better at something for their own personal self. And you look at each person who's hitting that bag, and they're hitting that bag with a different purpose than what I'm hitting the bag for.
Totally. The third core value that we have is called results. And it was when we sat down and we described the three core values, it's belong, real, and results. And results really stood out to me in a different way than other people, I think. I wasn't trying to hit fitness results. Mm-hmm. It was almost, purpose is almost a better word for it, right? So what's the purpose behind coming to class today? Is it to work out? Is it to have a tribe of people? Is it to be better at something? Is it boxing? Is it whatever? Whatever it is, we don't care. We're going to help you get those results.
Right, and encourage you to keep going. And like Coach Demetrius would say, you know why you're here. I didn't make you come here today.
Yeah.
You know why you're here. And then someone else in class was like, yeah, I didn't know I needed my butt kicked so hard until I got my butt kicked so hard.
That's so true.
It's like, to put it eloquently, for those out there, all right?
And Demetrius is such a great coach and a great guy. And I find it fascinating, the individuals that are just continue to shine. Mm-hmm. I've been to so many different gyms, and walking through different Legends gyms in different states, and going all the way to the East Coast and walking in and feeling the exact same energy as I do at my own home gym in
Right.
Lehigh, Utah.
Right.
It's crazy to think that there's a culmination of people that gravitate towards each other in these gyms, and it's centered around combat sports.
Yep.
But it creates such a bonding, unified group of individuals that come together to do something hard every day.
Exactly. And, I've traveled around the state, and there's a Legends in St. George, right outside. And in the first year of me going to Legends, we went on a trip down there, and I was like, hey, it sounds crazy, but the app says there's a Legends down here, babe. I'm going to go hit it up tomorrow morning while you guys are all probably still just like getting the day going here at on the vacation. I'm going to go to the gym. She's like, I'll go with you.
Oh, awesome.
So my wife tagged along. We went to the gym and we worked out. I think Deshka was at the time, was the coach down there. So she ran us outside in the back in the St. George heat, and I'm like, this is what are we? Well, we're here, and we are getting it done.
Love it.
And my wife's like, all right, she knows the taste of what I'm into, and, which is just trying to have longevity to just better myself and be here for a longer period of time if this is what it takes.
Yeah, man, and I feel like
no more pills, bro. Thrills before pills.
Exactly.
Has been a mantra, and even though I take a statin, I'm grateful for it. I was very hesitant to want to.
Yeah.
Growing up around families with illnesses, you see people have these things issued to them, prescribed to them a lot, and you may just not ever want to take one, even if you have cancer. You're like, I don't want it because I just.
Yeah.
But sometimes, the statin.
It's necessary.
Cross my fingers on that, okay? I believe in it, and also putting myself in the gym and showing up. And so now I go to Riverton, and I fight with like Coach Zach, who's down there, loves mitts. He's like one to the head, one to the body. I'm like, oh my, bro, you're working me, bro. And I'm just like dripping sweat. And
Love it.
I love the mitts because it's just the coach works you, and you're not realizing that they're moving you around and pivoting you, and
Yeah, you don't get to lean on the bag. It forces you to keep working.
Right. It's like.
Yeah, I think that like prescriptions, all that stuff, it has its place, and obviously, I think with modern medicine and staying disciplined with whatever workout you're doing, and I think that they have their place and they have their purpose, and adding value versus using it as a crutch. As a younger man, I got to see a lot of older people that didn't take care of themselves, that they just are living from one pill to the next. And yes, they're alive.
That pastrami burger is delicious, bro. Let me tell you, right? But I'm telling you, that pastrami burger with cheese just dripping.
Yeah, when we were talking earlier just about toe edge over the cliff, right? Like there's a difference between being alive and living, right? Like I think that boxing, combat sports, living a type of life where you get to do hard things, you commit to hard things, you have a purpose in your life,
bro,
and you have no idea how that's going to impact other people. And I love the feeling of seeing people succeed and do well. I love to see that this little idea that my brother and I had years ago that has impacted people. That wasn't really the intention, right? Like I'm a business person.
Right.
I wanted to give the gift of boxing, but if I'm being totally honest, I'm a business person. I want to make money, and it ended up becoming where I get to do something I love and be a part of people's lives indirectly every single day, and I'm grateful for it. I love that it does that.
Well, there's a niche that you founded a need for, right? With Legends being kind of strewn about the Wasatch Front and some other states on the app. If you have the Legends app, you can see what's near you. But, I can only imagine as an entrepreneur myself who has multiple stores, just what goes into trying to put your passion out there for people to understand, hey, come check this out. And this is my brand, right? Believe in it, come check it out. I don't know. I just really am grateful that I found a gym where I can get everything out and feel like I'm learning a skill.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I one of my commitments to myself was no matter what we turn into, we'll never lose the focus of why we started this, right? That we have gotten, decent size and we've had to reset, we've had to focus and pivot, and COVID definitely did a number on a lot of our gyms, but I think we're stronger than we've ever been right now, and I think it's because we've never deviated from the intent of those three core values of teaching real boxing, having a tribe where people can belong, and then helping people achieve whatever results they're looking for. Those three things, every decision that comes across my desk or across anybody that's a part of Legends, those three core values are part of all of it. From the gloves we make to the shows we put on.
Right.
If it doesn't relate to those three things, it's a no. If it does relate, then we'll figure out how to use it or how to implement it.
Bring it into the situation.
Yeah,
I like to Rubik's Cube it is what I call it. How do we Rubik's Cube that?
Exactly. That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
With one of the reasons I want to have you on is our executive fight night's coming up.
That's right.
And it's May 17th, 2025. And this year is going to be a unique year. We're doing something different that we haven't done before. We're doing it at the Masonic Temple downtown. And we sell out every year, right? And that's usually between 2,000 and 3,000 people. For an amateur boxing show, humbly, that's pretty damn good, right?
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, I am shocked every time we do it. And when we tell people, hey, we're almost sold out, it's not a marketing thing. It's almost sold out.
Right.
And then it's sold out. I still get 50 calls the day of, is it really sold out? It's really sold out.
Yeah.
This year, we only have 965 seats. We squeezed one more. We had 964. I found one more seat. So we have 965 seats exactly. And we just went live yesterday with tickets, and 12% sold out in 6 hours. So this year it's going to really sell out really fast. So I wanted to get on early and have the crowd and the audience hear from you. How many events have you emceed for us now?
Oh wow, I've been able to MC about 4 of the events now for Legends, right? Executive fight nights. You might have seen me at some of these events, if you attend them. Usually in the ring, around the ring, just saying everything that is coming out of Sandy, Utah, Riverton, Utah, all the fighters, homie out of Texas.
Yeah, he fought well.
I just got a shout out to you too, right? Because you did win that round.
Yeah, he fought well.
He did.
Yeah, I wanted people to hear from your perspective what it's like. I don't think, as a fan, I'm hoping we're putting on a product that people want to pay for and they like, and it seems like we are. But from your perspective and seeing the crowd and the energy and all this stuff, of what type of production it is. Like, what is it really to you?
Okay, so it's a production. It's really well put together. There's a back of house, there's a run of show, and these things are terms in the industry that are of professionalism. And Adrienne?
Yeah.
She's the best.
Adrienne.
When I'm walking with her and we're pre-showing and she's with all of the AV, audio, video, and she's like, I want to run a show, I want it straight up, and this is what I expect. I'm just like, yeah, that's what she wants.
Adrienne came to us as an intern and as an assistant for a marketing lady that we had hired, and she was, I think, barely 18 years old.
Right.
And just has grown and grown and grown and grown, and now she's actually grown beyond us now. She took a position that we couldn't match, and I was so proud of her, and she's earned every second of that, every bit of that, and we've got VIP tickets for her to come to the show. Now she gets to actually sit and be a fan.
She's going to hear it and listen. Oh, that's great.
And she's been cheering us on. She's wonderful, and we couldn't be more proud of Adrienne. Allie has now stepped into that role, and those are some big shoes to fill. And all those terms that you're mentioning, she's picking up really, really fast.
Sure.
So the production company that we're using and the different moving parts, and we just signed a deal with a new pay-per-view company, which has been a missing component. So now people can, from Texas, from Orlando, wherever, can watch these fights and see what kind of production's going on.
I'll say to friends of mine that there's a boxing match happening and how can they tune in? And so that is a thing that would be just a really good, easy here. Right here, click here, or go to this site. It's right here. Click on it. Takes you right to it. I mean, pay-per-view, bro.
Yeah,
it's boxing.
We've been
used to that with
showing it, but
boxing.
we wanted to make sure that we had a product that even if you weren't a boxing fan, you watched it and you go, that was worth it, right? I want everybody to walk out of the auditorium or watching it on TV that they go, man, that was if I didn't do that, I didn't do my job. And so from making sure that, the prep work and the time
yeah.
and the organization that we had you, and I think that you've honestly elevated our show to another level.
You.
Sincerely, and that's why I wanted you on here. Is I think that you have to have these components. You know, we've tried cheerleaders, we've tried people shooting T-shirts out into the crowd. Like we've tried lots of things because I wanted people to feel like this was a production, that this was something that was really valuable and that meant something.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what I want to bring to it, right? Is that level of also where I come from. You've heard that I started at the gym. I understand what's going on in the boxing scene. So when these guys are going into the corners, you know, I go to sparring nights and sit there and understand, see what they're doing and put their training to use. And then I get what's going on, you know, now in the ring. So as someone who's emceeing it or calling the sidelines, you know, the shots on over the mic, all these different types of things, I think it helps to have somebody who's passionate about the sport.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, call it. You can sometimes have somebody who you can tell they're like, oh, hey, looking good, Bob. You know, real good. You know, and
he should hit him harder.
Exactly, right. And then you get the guy that's like, he should hit him harder. You know, you're like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he hasn't thought of that.
Yeah,
yeah, it does help. We were talking earlier about I think what made Joe Rogan so instrumental in the growth of UFC. I think Dana White has talked about this, is that he understands the sport. He's a fan of the sport. He can understand what he's a product is even a better word.
Yes.
I think he speaks it well. He's got a great eye for it, and then understands what the audience needs to know. Right.
And he's been doing it a long time too. So you know, he goes from comedian.
Yeah.
Right. But still doing, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and his form of martial arts that he was into. Right. It was like always something. He probably has to have that same passion.
Yes.
Of something that he's got to keep going after. Right. And so it's like. Yeah. I don't think you're ever going to stop in in jiu-jitsu, and I don't think you can ever stop in martial arts and in boxing. It's always the next and the next.
Yeah, I've been doing it most of my life, you know, at different speeds and different intensity, but like I mentioned earlier, I'm always learning. I think that's why I like executive fight nights so much. I was just interviewing a professional referee in our last episode, and hearing his perspective from being the best seats in the house is in there watching the fights. And everything you get to see. With the executive fight night, the best egos on the planet are entrepreneurs, right? Like, we have egos, right?
Here we are.
and I think it's humbling. I do get to see entrepreneurs where they watch it on TV and they go, oh, I can do that. That's easy. The guy should have done this or he should have done that. I'm like, okay, well, let's get you in the ring and see what it's like, you know. And every year, without fail, this is I shouldn't say this, but it's one of my favorite things, is because I have so much respect for the sport of boxing and how hard it is. And I love when people get a chance to learn that they learn what it really takes to be at a professional level or a high level in the sport.
Bro.
And the sacrifices that you make and the peak level that even some of the worst boxers on TV, you know, or worst on TV are, that they're at this peak level. And so we'll get once a year where there'll be an entrepreneur that signs up for executive fight night, and we go in great detail to say, here's the level of training, here's the sacrifices. In 9 weeks, we're teaching you these things. They have some of the best coaches, and they barely show up to class. They show up to sparring a couple of times. It's no big deal. It's only 3 rounds. I can do that, blah, blah, blah. And every year, those people get knocked out. It's not even lose. They all get knocked out because they have no idea that this is what it takes to go and fight in front of a sold-out crowd in an arena. You versus that person, and that person trained their ass off, and you didn't.
Correct.
You're going to lose.
Somebody's training harder than you.
Yes. There's a quote I heard that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah.
Right? And I get to see these entrepreneurs, and I love it because over the next 9 weeks, they're going to be training at all the Legends gyms, and we actually included a few other gyms, Wasatch MMA and Tim Carroll's gym, so that we can kind of have a blend of all kinds of different backgrounds. And I think it's going to make the show really interesting. And I travel around to the gyms, and I jump in the ring, and I spar with some of these guys, and it's really cool to see that literally they just show up to class, they put in their 5 to 6 days a week because they need to train hard, and then spar a couple times a week. And we get them ready to go put on a show because I don't want executive fight night to look like a tough man contest.
Right.
I want it to look like a boxing
Like
match.
They have like a pivot.
Exactly.
They can inside step. You know, it's like I completely agree with that. And what I also like is the rawness of it, because everybody who steps into the ring are passionate about their business. We all like to talk about it. Well, here we are, legends, right? Let's talk about it. So whatever their business is, they want to talk about it. They get in the ring, and then they're just like, the ding hits. I'm right there on the side, and I see them just go right at it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, these guys are so passionate about everything they've been taught. They're trying to like throw it all up right now at the very beginning, right? And then ding, round ends, they go back and sit down, and then they realize that they're in a fight.
Yes, that's true.
Okay. Yep. And then the bell hits, the ring girl shows up, and everybody's stoked, and it's just a really great time. I mean, everybody has a great time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that it's a feeling that you cannot even describe until you do it, right? And very few people in this world get to have that feeling or choose to embark on that, right? And
volunteering.
Yeah, it's hard to describe what it feels like, win, lose, or draw, to put in the time, to put in the sacrifices, to train for 9 weeks, to put your life on hold, essentially, to stand in front of a crowd where you don't have anybody to fall back on. It's you versus that other person, and that person is trying to win.
That's right.
And sometimes that means by knocking you out, and that's what could happen if you didn't prepare right.
Right.
So it is intense. Intense is the right word, but it's so fulfilling. Like, when I love to see the look on people's face, win or lose, when they step out of there, knowing that they gave it their all. That's the best.
Their faces, just at the very end of it, before the like one of the refs raises their hands, they're just like looking around. They're just like, their hearts are racing, and everything they've been training in the gym was just brought to that point. Yeah. It's very inspiring to see them go into the gym, and then I get the honor to say, like, Elevate Water, like I just got done fighting, or Atmosphere Chiropractic and Wellness Center, I'm just gonna throw those out there, but it's really what it is, know. And so these guys get into the ring just to touch gloves and.
Yeah, it's a cool seat, right? Like it's fun to see them do it. So as an MC, what's your favorite part of the show?
My favorite part would have to be just the center of the ring, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fight Night. I'm your host, Rad, and here we go, Nice. And these are the next fighters that are coming up, so let's just hear it for them, because it takes a lot to step into that ring, and that's what I really like to get out there. And the passion that it takes, there's lights on, there's, everybody's staring at me, there could be crickets, but I just think that it's so, I don't know, it's just so awesome to be involved in the whole production and the process, and to know that, I can say, are you here for red team? Yeah. Are you here for blue corner? Yeah. And just to hear the crowd cheer, it just keeps it going. And then I step out of the ring and you hear the bell, and then someone's head lands right in front of me. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, this is for real. I'm like, this is no joke, right? This is what we're training in the gym about, right? There's just...
as a boxer, like, you're in the ring, or you're in the gym training with these guys and gals that are going to be fighting, and they're doing the same workout you're doing.
Right, 100%.
Like, and they're learning the same thing you're learning. Like, it's validating it to a sense to know that you firsthand what that combination's like, right?
Like Tariq,
exactly what
he was training in the Sandy gym, and I was sitting there watching Tariq in the gym, pop, 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 3-8, 3-8, 3-8, 3-8, 3-8, 3-8.
Yeah, and transferred directly into the
100%, dude. And then his confidence in the ring, right? I just saw him kind of like walk around the fighter, like, well, where are you gonna come out? I'm gonna get you in here, I'm gonna get you in there, and it's just like, his coach was just really pushing him into the right direction.
Really, truly.
And the coaches are the coaches who are training us. It's like Demetrius. Yeah. I see the fighters like, hey, can you maybe sit my corner? And he, when I go and see him at the event, and I'm like, okay, how's all the fighters doing back here? And Demetrius is like, I got all 5 of them. Okay, we're all okay, huh? Calm. Everybody's calm, right? Breathe, stay warm.
I have a video. We'll put it in the edit in the clip of. I got to coach Shelby Osborne on the last Tribe Fight Night we did in October at FightCon.
Oh, sure.
And I haven't coached anybody in 5 years, probably. Like, Kylan Withers is probably the last guy I coached, because it is a huge time commitment. And if I'm going to get into something, I get really into it. It's an obsession of mine. And so with Shelby, we started training her early because she was fighting Jansen, who from Sandy.
Oh yeah, Jansen Biggs.
Yeah, and she's one of our best female fighters, period.
100%.
Right?
I've trained with her tons of times.
She's amazing, and I knew when fight camp started that Jansen was a lot better than Shelby. Right? Like I watched Shelby's first fight, and she did good, but it was not good enough, and so I wanted this to be the first female main event in Utah's history and at the first fight con. So it had to be really, really good.
Right.
That was the pressure I put on myself, of course. And so I knew that Shelby had what it took to rise to the occasion, and the level of training that it took to get her there was as close to a pro training camp as possible. So I had her running hills at 9 o'clock at night after sparring, honking every 15
just
seconds.
Just keep going.
Because she needed to put on a performance to be able to and I couldn't have been happier with the results. With Shelby and Jansen, and both of them belonged there. They belonged as the first female main event in Utah. They belonged as the first female main event for FightCon.
That's right.
They shine, and they look like either one of them could have won, and I was super proud of both of them. Yeah,
it was a decision. You know, I was sitting right there. I remember it just like, you know, right, and I'm not biased, Jansen. So but like, being able to watch her train, right? And I've seen her in the gym so many times. She comes into Demetrius's class to fight and train, and so I'm always in there. And so, I mean, if there's anybody that you want to watch footwork, or she has that, just the way she just moves,
flows.
100%. You know, and it's boxing.
It is. Yeah.
Okay, so getting in the ring, you got a fight card now. Now you got a stamp on your fight card saying that you just fought in a boxing match, and you're moving on your way to the next one. That's what it's about, right? There's I don't know any undefeated boxer.
Oh no, there's
somebody's been knocked down once.
Rocky Marciano, I guess, is the only undefeated. Mayweather, if you want to count some of those, but
Floyd. Yeah, well, I do love Floyd. I do like Floyd.
He's a hell of a fighter.
Yeah, bro. Feint, slip. He's
technically unbelievably good defensive fighter, but to get in there with what Shelby and Jansen did and how it relates to executive fight night is the video that we'll play in this clip is Shelby walking out, and the crowd went nuts. In 18 years of putting on fights, I've never seen a crowd erupt like that. I felt like I was at a Jazz game, like where Michael Jordan was playing. That's what it felt like. And I want people, when I'm talking to people about doing these fights and what it's going to be like, I send them that clip now, and I say, this is what it's like. Can you imagine walking on the red carpet and the whole arena just erupts, thousands of people screaming your name, and the adrenaline that comes with that, but also the responsibility that comes with that, right?
Right. Well, power to women.
That's right.
Bro, okay? I'm cool with it, right? I've seen sparring where it's guy and girl, and sorry, dude, okay? But she can hold her own. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not that. After seeing sparring like that, I kind of step back a little bit and say, okay, it's not so bad.
Skilled boxers.
100%. They're just going at it, same weight class, same height, same just about everything, you know? It's just like, I don't know, what's 131 versus 131?
Right.
Okay.
And it comes down to like the discipline, the hard work, the time, and all of that stuff. So I want to make sure that we kind of hear your journey, right? Like, so you've put in almost 400 classes.
That's right.
You've got to experience what it's like to be, now you've gone to 2 gyms, right? 3 gyms.
3 gyms, yeah, 3 gyms. That's right. Yep.
So what would you tell somebody that's driving by the sign, they're looking at the Legends buildings, and they're going, you know, man, I should try that.
You should try it. You should. Okay, so if you're just contemplating it, then you should just do it. You know, I mean, there is a free class that, you know, I took advantage of that.
Yeah.
And then and then that day it was like, hey, are you interested? And I was like, well, is this what it's going to be like? You know, I just got my butt kicked. I think it was Coach Mike at the time, you know, and or Beth, one of the, you know, and they're just like, what's up? Let's see you work out. You know, here we go. Like, we're going to do, you know, V-ups. And I'm like, is that a throw up? Are we going to throw up? What's a V-up? You know, so once you start learning all of the different, exercises over the courses and all this, I have to go every day.
Good.
Because if I go one day, we worked upper. If I skip a day, because I got to go 3 times a week, I'm going to go back to upper again.
Yeah.
I'm always going to just be doing this. I want the whole course. And I feel like each day is a different class, a different session of, okay, today we're going to do, squats. It's going to be nothing but squats, and you're just doing all the legs and it's all core. The next day it's going to be just like 100 up, 100 down, 100 up, 100 down, kind of attitude, just working the whole planks. You want to do some planks, okay? You want to be, earlier we were talking about what keeps me going, my journey.
Yeah.
So I love to snowboard, and I love to go a lot. And, I'm already on day 41 or 2 as of this podcast for this season. In addition to all of the gym days.
Yeah, wow.
And so last year, I had 200 gym days with 71 days up at Brighton.
Wow.
Okay, so 271 days of what I feel is activity.
Yeah.
All right. So when the doc asked me, are you doing 5 days a week? I'm like, yeah, dude, I think 6 days a week. Is that fair?
Yeah.
But I mean, really, if you're looking for something that challenges you, because I needed something that made me feel like I might die.
Yeah.
To like keep me going. Where's this adrenaline? I feel like maybe a skydiver has that junkie mentality. Like I got to jump out of airplanes all the time.
Yeah.
I'm riding, cliff faces with toe side, my wife's following me behind and we're just, filming it and doing all these different types, like the other day up at Brighton, 40, 50 mile an hour wind gusts, hurricane winds, and we're snowboarding in it. So I have to be physically fit. I have to be mentally sound to do these maneuvers. I'm cutting through trees and dicing and slicing and just like, like the Ginsu.
Yeah.
And so, and she's following me. And so I've got also her to think about, myself to think about, other people in the trees that I'm cruising through thinking about, like Star Wars, about to hit some Ewoks somewhere. But when the snow melts, where's that Ewok? Where's that at, right? Where's that going fast? So I was like, I need something. So I was like, do I do a HIIT class? Do I do some type of other gym, And I'm bouncing my knee if you don't see it. And I'm thinking, like, what do I do? And I keep driving by the gym, and I remember my mom always told me, oh, your grandfather was a boxer in the Army, a pugilist. And I'm like, oh, cool story, right? And then later on in life, I'm like, oh, wow, that's a really cool story that he was a pugilist in the Army.
Yeah.
And then his grandfather, and then there was a tie into the Fulmers with my grandfather.
Oh, really?
Or with my family lineage. And so I'm just like, why am I not in the gym? Working my upper body, trying to broaden this out, tighten up my abs. Now when I go in the bathroom and I look at myself, I can kind of see in the right shadows.
Good lighting.
Yes, my lighting that comes down directionally, it's like, okay, I feel a little Spartan, you know what I'm saying? It's like, there it is. And so, to have my wife tell me that, I'm her techno Viking, okay, to work for that kind of a goal.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, talk about that, right? Let's talk about my wife likes how I feel, makes her feel good too. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I love my wife very much. And so, I just want to really keep my journey going. So I guess with snowboarding and, my family and just going hard at stuff, I just have to have that same adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
And I feel like going into the gym and punching the bag and, working on a speed bag. I mean, there's just nothing quite like it. Plus, I'm a drummer.
Yeah.
And so as someone who plays the drums and they start playing songs, I'm just like, okay, 50 Cent, huh? All right. In the club, huh? All right. This beat kind of goes together with this heavy bag. And so
I love it. I think you're going to like, we have a new class that's being introduced. Riverton will get it in May.
Okay.
Called our skills class. And it's focusing more on the fundamentals of boxing, like learning to hit a speed bag, learning to hit a double end bag, footwork, head movement, the skills of boxing that's in addition to the conditioning of boxing. So when you're in a class and we're teaching you boxing and you're learning and all the planks and V-ups and those are all workouts that would help a boxer stay in shape for boxing. But we don't have a ton of time to teach you some of the advanced stuff that I really want to teach members. And so we developed this skills class that we've been doing in Lehigh for the last couple of months, and it's now packed. We're doing it 4 times a week now. People are signing up a month in advance to get in because it's the next evolution to somebody who's been boxing for 400 classes, right?
No, I'm interested.
How do I advance my skill? Maybe I'm not going to be a pro fighter. Maybe I'm not going to get in the ring, but I want to be better at these other things. So we created this class to add that extra depth, that extra layer. And now that's created a class, our mitts class, where we hold mitts for members the whole time, and then we teach members how to hold mitts.
Love mitts.
So you get to learn kind of, with this business, it's been fun for me because it's, even after, it's been 16 years of doing this, that I'm still trying to create new things that evolve
Right.
legends and move legends to the next level. So I think once you try the skills class, you're going to love it. And what made me think of it is the speed bag to me is very therapeutic. You know, I get in there and I don't put a timer on, and I just hit
Do it.
that bag 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and I lose my
Same.
thoughts. It's a calming environment
Same.
for me.
And then I try to like,
Yeah.
I'm like, how does Demetrius do that, bro? Because he's like, what you want to do, Rad, is 1, 2, 3, step 2. I'm just kidding, coach. It's like, he just got it down, right?
Yeah.
And so to be able to, you know,
Very rhythmic, therapeutic.
yes.
And you can, some of these guys are on, my brother's pretty good. He does elbows and head and
Oh,
forehead
right.
and all that.
See, and yes, and the cool thing is they're within legends.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to get trained by someone like, you know, Jansen.
Yeah.
You want to get trained by someone like Demetrius, coach, or Zach, or Josh, or any of the coaches who I've had the pleasure to meet. Really,
Good.
everyone's always, you know, Coach Megan. Who else would be Mike? I do miss Mike. Great coach. Always been like, "What's up, Radel? I didn't know I need." He's like, "I didn't go to work today, and I realized I didn't know I needed Rad in my life every day because I missed a class or something." Demetrius the other day, he told me, "You know, I was going into work at like 4 a.m." And I was like, "Yeah, that's right. You do go early, don't you?" And he, from Bountiful, and he's like, "It was snowing," and I thought, "Is Rad going to be there today, or is he going to be on the mountain?" And I was there.
Nice.
It was the Saturday. I was like, "Well, I'm here, coach. Surprise." And he's
Nice.
like, I was like, "Good surprise, right?" So when I feel that my coaches might think about me, am I going to be there? And I think, okay, well, I got to show up because they're expecting me to be there. I expect them to be there. So there's some accountability,
Absolutely.
right? I know I pay a fee to be a member of the gym. I know there's a monthly fee,
Yeah.
okay? It's well worth it to me.
Good.
I feel like it's a great value. My son's been going to the gym. He has a 100 class patch on his wrist.
Nice.
All right. So it's something that he can go and do. My wife takes him. See, that's the sad thing about that gym is that he would walk home. And it was so close that it was very successful for him to go into the gym all the time. Whereas I go to Riverton now, you know, to go to that gym. And it's a little tougher after school for him to go to the gym. However, yesterday, he and I are hitting mitts now.
Nice.
And so I said, "Yo, bro, we have mitts," and so he has mitts. It is not easy to hit mitts. And so this is full circle to your mitts class that you just said you're going to be putting up there. Mitts are not easy to do.
Right.
Okay? It's the opposite of everything. Give me a 1, 2. Give me a 3. Give me a 3. You know, you're like, which way is the, you know, 6, 7? And you're the mirror of the boxer. So when you can have a coach who can sit there and slap with you, or like, give me 1 to the head, 1 to the body, you know, and jab here, jab there. Like Coach Zach over at Riverton.
Yeah.
He's like, 1 to the head, he's put the pads right here. I'm like, "Oh, bro, it's cool, bro."
And they have to be there first. They have to be ahead of it. We're going to teach members how to do that because I think there's, you know, for us to claim, which is a bold claim that we teach real USA boxing, I wanted to make sure we taught all facets of real USA boxing and whatever level people want to achieve, it's going to be available to them. So we're pretty excited about it. So, well, I want to thank you for coming out and doing this episode with me. I think it's going to be super interesting for the listeners. We keep growing and evolving with this podcast and seeing where it'll take us. And it seems to keep growing, so we're going to keep doing it. So any final last words?
Thanks for putting on a gym and believing in it and being passionate and believing in me to host and MC your, you know, your very special events that you hold so dear. I want to bring just that best to it every single time. Those of you out there that want to come to the fights, you should do it. It's a good time. You know, I'm hosting it. We don't tell you everything that goes on there because we want you to come to the show. Right. So you got to come to the show to see all of the show and the knockouts, the fighters. You know, I'm just thrilled to be here with you today, and I'll just shake your hand right here, bro.
Appreciate
thanks for having me on the show. Okay,
thank you. Thanks for coming. So make sure that you click the like button, subscribe, comment any comments on any episodes or anything that you picked up on this episode that you like. So thanks again.
Yeah, no problem. And join the gym. Get out and do something. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thrills before pills, baby.